Tuesday, February 21st, 2023, Finance and Purchasing Committee. Roll call, please.
Alderman Newsom.
Present.
Alderman Moiseo. Alderman Hayes. Alderman Florian.
Present.
Alderman Rivera.
We have a quorum. Approval of the minutes for January 17th, 2023. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Moiseo. Are there any questions to the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item D, public comments. Are there anyone that wants to speak on anything that's on the agenda for this evening? Being none, we're going to move on to new business. Item A, resolution approving a grant application to the Firehouse Subs Foundation for the purchase of 30 bailout bags. Staff recommends that members of the Finance and Purchasing Committee authorize the mayor to approve the application for the foundation for the grant. The Waukegan Fire Department is seeking approval for this grant application for 30 bailout bags. A bailout bag allows the user to make a rapid control escape through a window. With the recent addition of new firefighters, the fire department's inventory is in short supply. The total amount, for this grant is $12,565 and requires no match. Can I get a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Moiseo. Are there any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Moiseo. Aye. Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye. Motion carried. Item B, resolution approving the purchase and installation of new vinyl flooring for the fire department headquarters and 4 fire stations from Mohawk. Let's see. Motion by Alderman Moiseo.
Second.
Second by Alderman Florian. Staff recommends that the members of the Finance and Purchasing Committee authorize the mayor to approve a resolution per section 2-458 subsection I3 joint purchasing to enter into a contract with Mohawk for purchase and installation of new flooring at the fire department headquarters and 4 fire stations. That would be fire station 1, 2, 4, and 5 in an amount of $159,254.49. Are there any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Moiseo. Aye. Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye. Motion carried. Item C, resolution approving and authorizing membership in the Northeastern Illinois Regional Crime Laboratory. Staff recommends that the Finance and Purchasing Committee authorize the mayor to approve and authorize the city's membership in the crime lab and authorize payment of $133,409 membership fee. This is for the 2023-2024 membership. This is a shared fee arrangement which is based on the population of each member's municipality. The payment will be from line item 1006085244436. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Moiseo, motion by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Florian. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Moiseo. Aye. Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye. Motion carried. Item D, resolution waiving competitive bidding per section 2-458 subsection I, subsection 7, good faith waiver, and approving a contract renewal with Dignified Cleaning Services, LLC, for janitorial services at the Waukegan Police Station. Can I get a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Moiseo,
Second.
second by Alderman Florian. Last year, the Waukegan Police Department went out to bid for a weekly cleaning of the police department building. Leading up to last year's bidding process, the police department was being cleaned on a weekly basis by Dignified Cleaning out of Antioch, Illinois. The purpose of the cleaning was to provide a clean and sanitary environment for employees and visitors during the COVID-19 pandemic. After the pandemic slowed and vaccines became available, the police department went out to bid for fiscal year 2022-2023. The police department participated in the response for proposal process for a cleaning company. At the end of the process, Dignified Cleaning was awarded the contract, and that is for $91,000. I have a question for Chief. Is the Chief in? Oh, okay. It says we went out for RFP, and I didn't see any names of any of the other people that responded to the RFP and what their bid amounts were. Were they?
You talk about the bid from last year?
Was that last year? You're talking about you went out last year for RFP?
Yes, and their Dignified was the lowest bid.
Or it was the lowest for the $91,000?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why we went with them.
Okay. All right, that was my question. Payments for this service have been budgeted and paid out of line item 1006077-24438. Thank you, Chief. Are there any questions to this motion? Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Moiseo. Aye. Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, motion carried. Item E, resolution authorizing the purchase of website hosting and support services from Icon Enterprise. Staff recommends that members of the Finance and Purchasing Committee grant authority to the mayor to authorize per section 2-454, subsection I-4, professional services, the expenditure of funds for the purchase of the services from Icon Enterprise in the amount of $75,000 per year during fiscal year 2023 and fiscal year 2024. Can I get a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Moiseo? So the total would be $150,000. Are there any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Moiseo. Aye. Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, motion carried. Item F, resolution authorizing the expenditure of funds on the purchase of computers and other IT equipment from Amazon.com Business Prime. Staff recommends that members of the Finance and Purchasing Committee authorize the mayor to approve and authorize a resolution per section 2-458, subsection I-3, joint purchasing for the expenditure of funds for the 2023 purchases from the vendor, Amazon, during 2023 fiscal year up to a total amount of $160,000. 2023 purchases and II products from the vendor during the 2024 fiscal year in the amount of up to $240,000. Can I get a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Moiseo. Are there any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Moiseo. Aye. Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, motion carried. Item G, resolution authorizing the expenditure of funds on the purchase of computers and other IT equipment from CDW. IT staff request a resolution increasing purchase authority from CDWG to $800,000 for fiscal year 2023 and fiscal year 2024 to support city projects, maintenance, licensing, and services, including remediation with the city computer infrastructure, city computer infrastructure. On October 2022, the City Council authorized the expenditure of up to $200,000 on the products from vendors during the 2023 fiscal year, and the IT director has determined that the city will need to purchase additional products during the 2023 fiscal year. The IT director would also like to request the same purchasing authority for fiscal year 2024. Can I get a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Moiseo. Are there any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Moiseo. Aye. Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye, motion carried. Item H, resolution authorizing the expenditure of funds for professional services from DSN Group for professional services from DSN Group for fiscal year 2022-2023 and fiscal year 2023-2024. Staff recommends that members of the Finance and Purchasing Committee authorize the mayor and city council approve and authorize additional professional services from DSN for fiscal year 2022 and 2023 and fiscal year 2023-2024 in a total not to exceed amount of $200,000. The city anticipates that it will need to purchase additional IT professional services for the current fiscal year 2023 in the amount of $50,000 and an additional services from DSN during next fiscal year 2024 in the amount of $150,000 for a total amount not to exceed $200,000 for both fiscal years. Can I get a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Moiseo. Are there any questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Moiseo. Aye. Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye. Motion carried. Item I, resolution authorizing the expenditure of funds on the purchase of computers and other IT equipment from GHA Technologies, Incorporated. Staff recommends that members of the Finance and Purchasing Committee authorize the mayor to approve and authorize a resolution per section 2-458 subsection I3 joint purchasing for 1, the expenditure of funds for the 2023 purchases from vendor in a not-to-exceed amount of $160,000 and authorize the 2024 purchases from vendor in the not-to-exceed amount of $240,000, subject to sufficient funding being appropriated in the 2024 budget. Can I get a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Moiseo. Are there any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Moiseo. Aye. Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye. Motion carried. Item J, resolution approving a grant application to the U.S. Department of Transportation under the Thriving Communities Program, providing the City of Waukegan assistance with grant applications, project scoping, and other project pre-development for mobility and infrastructure programs. Can I get a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Moiseo. Staff recommends that the City Council approve the application to the TCP grant program. The U.S. Department of Transportation is seeking organizations that are in need of technical assistance, planning, and building support to advance transportation and community revitalization activities to increase mobility, reduce pollution from transportation sources, expand affordable transportation and housing options, improve health outcomes, facilitate efficient land use, preserve or expand jobs, and enhance connections to health care, education, and food security to benefit disadvantaged populations and communities. Through the U.S. DOT Thriving Communities Program, the City of Waukegan may receive assistance with grant application project scoping, planning, pre-development activities, the pre-engineering studies, project development, project funding and financing, and project delivery. The federal level assistance lasts for 2 years. Are there any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Moiseo. Aye. Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye. Motion carried. Item K, resolution approving a grant application to the U.S. Department of Transportation under the Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity RAISE grant program for the Sheridan Road, Illinois 137 corridor, Waukegan Lakefront corridor, rail corridor realignment and intermodal station project. Can I get a motion on the floor?
Second.
Motion by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Florian. Staff recommends the City Council authorize the mayor to submit an application in a multi-jurisdictional partnership with the City of North Chicago with the technical assistance of Trans System Corporation and Waukegan serving as the lead applicant for USDOT's Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity RAISE grant program. On September 19, 2022, the City of Waukegan Council authorized an agreement with Trans Systems to assist the City of Waukegan and North Chicago on a pro bono basis for reparation of funding applications for the Sheridan Road Amstutz corridor. The City of Waukegan's Engineer Division and Planning Department have coordinated with the City of North Chicago to expand the scope of work for this corridor by including the Waukegan Lakefront corridor, rail corridor realignment, and intermodal station project. Are there, this would be, the RAISE funding would enable the completion of National Environmental Policy Act, NEPA, documentation and preliminary engineering, also known as Phase 1. If the grant is awarded, 100% federal funding will be provided for the project from USDOT. Waukegan, as the lead applicant, would enter into a grant agreement with USDOT on a reimbursement basis for $12 million, as there would not be any local match. There also would not be any funds split between the two cities. In the future, the cities may develop an IGA, intergovernmental agreement, for anticipated future costs between the two cities. Are there any questions to this motion? Go ahead. Alderman Florian.
I just want to, I know initially the chief had told us that they were talking about completely removing the Amstutz, and then he corrected that. Yeah. What is the ultimate goal here? Just to...
I know we had talked about it years ago, creating an intermodal station, but Noel can speak to that.
Good evening, Alderman. Engineering and planning are working together on this project. This is a planning grant, so we'll be looking at all of the different options. Some of the options that have been laid out in prior plans are reducing the Amstutz to a boulevard, so it's still 4 lanes, but a narrower right-of-way, removing all or part of the Amstutz, any combination of things. But this would be reviewing all of those options and looking at what makes the most sense for the current and projected traffic flows for the whole corridor alignment, and then making decisions based on current figures.
I guess I'm not clear when you say corridor alignment. What is that? Like, is that just this we're talking about, or like Chicago to Milwaukee, or?
So we're looking at Greenwood Avenue down to 137 in North Chicago as this partnership between the two communities.
Okay.
So that's the whole corridor, and so it's how that road in that corridor is aligned in both communities as it traverses the route.
Because wasn't the original intention for it to go even further north than it does?
The very, very early intention of the Amstutz back in the 60s, I think, when it came about, was to be a lakefront highway from Chicago to Milwaukee, yes. That was the original goal of the state's project.
Kind of like the elusive extending Route 53, right?
Kind of like that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Alderman?
In terms of traffic, are we going to look at how that impacts Sheridan Road, some of the other areas in the city, if we do something as far as shutting down that particular area?
You want to address that or you want me to?
So I wouldn't assume we'll be shutting down a particular area by removing it. The preliminary studies will take into account the planning, how many trips are generated for future forecasted numbers based on CMAP onto 2050. So I don't suspect we're going to be shutting any road down. If anything, we'll make it easier for commuters and other travelers to access Sheridan Road while keeping the Amsteads open. IDOT was very clear that they're not going to remove the Amsteads. Last time we went with them for the RCP grant.
Thank you.
Alderman Bolton.
Yes, is there any other barriers that might hinder this project?
Well, some barriers, they're hard to forecast. One of them could be, the economy, but having the professionals signing the documents, right? Make sure we're pursuing it. We're not just taking the back seat and not being proactive with the planning, at least for phase one. The money's there, might as well take advantage. I don't know of any other barriers.
I think the important thing to remember about this particular grant is that it is the planning grant. So having this plan then in place in the preliminary engineering gets us in a position where we then have a shovel-ready project. So usually the barrier to getting a project done is not having the engineering completed. So this is the first step in that kind of process so that we get to not having barriers to actually do the project.
And I'm understanding this is a collaboration between Waukegan and North Chicago? Now, correct?
You are correct.
I had heard in the wind that there were some environmental issues or concerns to keeping them moving forward. Can you
Well,
elaborate?
that's what this phase one and the NEPA document will let us know. Because it's 100% funded, we don't have to pay that money back. The bills will be paid directly from USDOT. And the federal government, the way it works, as I stated in the town hall, when you reach the federal level, there's a lot of stipulations regarding the environment, and the NEPA document, that's the main concern for the federal government to allow big projects to proceed with federal funds. So any barriers that please let us know, because there will be, those will come out in the NEPA document, and I'm sure both cities and the planning team and engineering teams will sit together to figure out a way how to mitigate those problems and make sure that we are constructing it the right way without, killing piper plovers or bats or any sort of things or any wetlands. So that's what is very important to understand. The NEPA document will let us know what those requirements will have to be.
Thank you.
Are there any more questions? Okay, roll call, please. Thank you. It was Kay.
Alderman Moiseo? Alderman Florian?
Aye.
Alderman Newsom?
Aye, motion carried. Item L, resolution authorizing the expenditure of funds on the purchase of computer security equipment and services from SHI International Corporation. Staff recommends that the City Council approve a resolution per Section 2-458, subsection I-3, joint purchasing, authorizing the IT department to purchase, 1, additional products from SHI International during the 2023 fiscal year up to a total amount of $100,000, and products from SHI International during the 2024 fiscal year in the amount of up to $100,000. Can I get a motion on the floor?
Second, but I'd like to note that there's a misspelling in the document here, so we probably need to correct that. It says expenditure of fines instead of funds.
Okay. Alderman Florian. Are there any other questions? Did you get that?
Yeah, that's not, if it's not on the resolution, you're voting on the resolution, so that's just a
Okay.
typo, yeah.
Oh, okay. Are there any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Moiseo? Aye. Alderman Florian?
Aye.
Alderman Newsom?
Aye, motion carried. Item M, resolution authorizing the procurement of Arrigo Essential Capital Improvement Project Management Software from DLT Solutions, LLC. Can I get a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Moiseo. Staff recommends that the City Council approve a resolution authorizing the IT Department to purchase Argeo Essentials from DLT Solutions through OMNIA, Omnia Partners Contract, R190902 per section 2-458, subsection I3, joint purchasing contract, any amount of up to $37,000 per year for the next 3 years, any amount not to exceed $111,000. Are there any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Moiseo. Aye. Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye, motion carried. Item N, resolution waiving competitive bidding, ratifying and approving a contract with Safe Built LLC for a plan review service for the temporary casino facility. Motion by Alderman Moiseo,
Second.
second by Alderman Florian. City staff recommends waiving competitive bidding, ratifying and approving the city's contract with the consultant for services, and authorizing the payment to the consultant for the services in the full amount of $27,887.38. Are there any questions to this motion?
Is this being paid out of
It's coming out of
the casino fund?
escrow fund? Yes.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Moiseo. Aye. Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye, motion carried. Item O, resolution approving the engagement of Peterson, Johnson, and Murray Chicago LLC to provide legal services to the City of Waukegan and execution of a retainer agreement. Can I get a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Moiseo. Motion to approve a resolution approving the engagement of Peterson, Johnson, and Murray Chicago LLC to provide legal services to the City of Waukegan and execution of the retainer. Corporation Counsel recommends entering into an agreement with Peterson, Johnson, and Murray Chicago LLC to prosecute collection actions for the city's push tax. Are there any questions on this? I had some questions. I know that they're going to try to go after the people that have not paid the push tax. How likely are we to even get any money after we?
It's difficult to say. I think the firm,
I think you need your microphone. Sorry, it's hard to hear you.
good evening. I think the firm has had some success with the collections of the knowledgeable about this. This is what they do. I don't think they can guarantee, a rate of success, but I can't say definitively there's a 50% chance or there's a 70% chance of collection.
If we look back at it, it was a law, it was an ordinance by the city, it was upheld by the state, it is a law. I remember Stuart telling us it might take a bit of time to get this to come to fruition, but you're talking about a cash cow when it does.
Well, how long are we going to have to pay somebody, the legal fees in order to hopefully get,
All the cat out of the bag, we can talk about that, but at some point, they're gonna have to pay. It's a law. They can not pay it all they want. It's a law. The tax man's coming, basically.
and they're saying we're going to have to expend anywhere from 10 to 20,000 just to, the $300 an hour is not even included in the 10 to 20,000, plus all the expenses and travel and all this other stuff that we're gonna have to pay in order for them to go after a few people.
3 to 4 million, maybe? That's what we projected it at. Only ones that are involved in it are us, Waukegan, the only communities that, and North Chicago. We got grandfathered in by the state, if I'm right on that, Counselor.
North Chicago was able to get in on it? North Chicago was able to get in on it in time?
They had to have a meeting that, before that Monday, they had it Sunday night, they had it to pass it. And there was only 3 communities, I think it was us, North Chicago, and Waukegan.
Are we going to be able to collect retroactively on this?
I don't have that information, but I can get that.
That was Alderman, I've talked to Stu and other people about that would be, it depends how hard we want to be with it.
Is
Because,
this
I mean,
something? Go ahead.
that could put people out of business. I mean,
Would not put the restaurants, the bars out of business. This is all about the gaming operator.
I thought,
That owns the gaming machine.
so the restaurant or bar is not involved in this, it's just the owner of the machine?
Correct.
Okay.
Your machine is responsible for everything that machine, they're responsible for the machine, the money collected, the tax on it. It's all in their
And they already have the data of how many times the machine's been pushed.
Yeah.
How deep do you want to get into this? They say they don't, everybody knows better, the courts know better, and proven they know better. They're kicking the can down the road on this, that can's gonna come to fruition soon.
Well, as long as we're not talking about putting any of our local businesses out of business, then I think we need to go. I mean, why did we do this if we're not going to collect the money?
Right. They threatened the local businesses because the local businesses didn't know any better. But again, if you know the statute, you know, the council, tell me if I'm wrong, all of gaming is run through the state of Illinois. All a business owner gets at the end of the month is a check from the Illinois Gaming, or probably the treasury, but they get a check that's distributed to them. Same with the city of Waukegan. We just get a check, our cut of it. It's all run through the state of Illinois. The business owner can't even fix the machine. He can't even touch it. If something goes haywire, he's got to call the guy that owns, the people that own it, and they got to come take care of it. So it's totally in the gaming operators that own the machine. Totally in there.
Okay, thank you.
Is this something that we have to vote on tonight? Or,
We're just recommending it go to council.
It'll go to council, but you can hold it in committee if you wanted to.
We can pass it here, we can hold it on council.
You can do either way.
They're saying online they can't hear you, Alderman Moiseo. I don't know if your microphone's not on or...
That's unusual. Not hearing me.
I can hear you.
okay,
Pass it to
Well-
council, and if you want to hold it there, Alderman, that's your prerogative.
no,
No reason to hold it in
Go
committee.
ahead.
That way, it's only a 2-week delay instead of a month delay. These guys may be already ready to go. I mean, we've waited a long,
yeah. Okay, are there any more questions? We had a motion, right? Okay. Roll call, please.
Alderman Moiseo.
aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye, motion,
Alderman Newsom, I'll leave you with one thing. There was a famous gangster who built Las Vegas. You know what he said? It ain't what it costs us, it's what it makes us.
yeah, okay.
Meyer Lansky, for anybody listening.
Oh, okay,
We are not gangsters,
Okay.
just FYI.
okay. All right, item 3, reports and communications. We have all our reports and communications, and then we also have a sheet from finance. Do anyone want to go through Alderman Florian?
I do have a question about one of the home-based businesses. I don't know who can answer this question, but one of them is a transportation-type business. I'd like to know if one of the questions we ask them is how many vehicles they're going to have parked in their driveway or on the street or what. I get so many complaints about this, I just can't I can't even with these home businesses anymore. And the seal coating also I'm a little concerned about. I can't imagine running a seal coating business out of your home without having some kind of trucks or equipment or something. So if someone can explain those two to me, I'd be greatly appreciative.
I have not yet seen the application for the seal coating business, so I don't know what that one is. But for any home business that involves commercial vehicles, I inquire about where they're going to park the vehicles, make sure that that is in compliance with the code, and comment on there also that they need to be garaged if they're marked vehicles.
Okay? People don't do that, you know that, right?
Then people should complain to code enforcement
Well, we
so that it
do,
can
but
be
then part of the
enforced.
problem, like I had a new resident move in that runs like a gutter business or something out of his house. He's gone all day, so he doesn't come back till 5 o'clock and code enforcement's gone at 5 o'clock.
Sure.
So we can never catch him because we don't have code enforcement after 5 o'clock. And, I don't think they're doing it intentionally. I think they just don't know that you can't do that kind of stuff. And so I just think if we can prevent it from getting to that point. So it says here, these have to go through planning and zoning. Like it says it needs planning and zoning approval. Is that you or is that the commission?
No, that's me. That's staff.
So can you find out about the cars and then let me know what the actual?
They don't always respond when I ask questions, and then those end up getting denied after I wait a little period of time and give them a chance to respond.
Okay.
So, what you're seeing is a list of applications. I have not necessarily reviewed all of them. Like I said, the
Okay.
seal coating one I haven't even
Sorry,
seen
I
yet.
didn't mean
that's
to put
okay.
you on the spot, but I just,
I don't mind being on the spot. It's not the first time.
well, thank you.
No problem.
That's all I have, Alderman Newsom.
Are there any, sorry. Are there any other questions? I'll take a motion to adjourn at 6:06. Motion by
Alderman Florian.
Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Moiseo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Actually, it's 6:07. Sorry.